What's good, folks? Welcome to this film breakdown edition of Disguised Coverage. I am your host, Anthony Prohaska. Find me on Twitter at pro__ant. That's pro 2_ANT. Find me on Blue Sky at proant. No underscores there, just PROANT. In this film breakdown edition of Disguised Coverage, we are going to be taking a look at Cole Bishop, Buffalo Bills' second-year safety, and we're going to take a look at some plays from the Week 2 preseason game against Chicago and the Week 3 preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Safety is a focal position for the Buffalo Bills this year, for the team, and I think in the eyes of a lot of fans. And for me on this show, I've talked about the safety position throughout the entirety of the offseason. Taylor Rapp as an individual player, Cole Bishop as an individual player, what the depth looks like, and what a starting tandem of Cole Bishop and Taylor Rapp would look like for the Bills in 2025 in terms of their traits, their skill sets, how they overlap and or complement one another and or don't complement one another, and what that would mean for the Bills defense schematically in terms of what they run, what they could do. I've talked a lot about Cole Bishop as an individual player and what I thought his best fit would look like in the NFL, and juxtapose that with his fit in the Buffalo Bills defense and him being, better the closer he gets to the line of scrimmage and to the box. Anything that gets him into the hook curls, the curl to flats, manning up versus tight ends or running backs, being able to buzz down or play as a robber safety, anything where he gets to go into and around the box and line of scrimmage, that is where he is best. That is where he looks most comfortable. The farther he gets away from the box and the line of scrimmage, the worse that he gets. Not meaning that he's bad or he's awful there, but his strong suit and his strength right now is playing in and around the box and the line of scrimmage and playing deeper, seeing the game from depth, processing it from depth, and making plays is something that's still somewhat of a work in progress for him. So with that being said, let's dive into the film and break down Cole Bishop. This first play we're going to dive into is from the Buffalo Bills Week 3 preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's early in the game. The play is at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 34-yard line. I've got Cole Bishop highlighted and circled here, and I wanted to lead off with this play because I think it shows Cole Bishop's skill set, showcases and highlights where he's most comfortable and how he can be effective, again, in and around the box and in and around the line of scrimmage. As I let the play run here, notice the communication and relaying of checks between Dorian Williams, Joe Andreessen, and then Cole Bishop here as he gets himself into the box. There's Dorian Williams calling out. There's Joe Andreessen calling out. There's Cole Bishop calling out. We're going to get into that call out in just a second, but I'll let the play run here so you can see Bishop. Again, here he is as that down safety in the box, in and around the line of scrimmage. Watch the trigger, watch the play. Bang, makes a nice play in the hole. Quick, reactive, fast, physical, and makes a nice stop. Let's go to the end zone angle here to break down this play a little further. Bills have 7 defenders in the box. The Bucs have 7 blockers, which means there's 8 gaps for the 7 Bills defenders to cover, which means the Bills are down 1 defender versus the gaps they have to cover. That translates to someone having to win up front, beating their man. We have to steal gaps. Something has to happen up front to potentially change the math. I highlighted from the sideline angle that pre-snap communication from Dorian Williams, Cole Bishop, and Joe Andreessen. And you can see here from Cole Bishop, again, highlighted and circled, his eyes are locked onto number 87. So are Joe Andreessen's eyes as well. And the reason for that is usually, so 87, this tight end, is the only tight end here on the field. But if you notice, he's not on the line of scrimmage. 81 is on the line of scrimmage. So 87 is in an offline position. Usually, if you follow the offline player or the move or adjuster player, they tend to lead you to the ball. So Bishop looks to be keying 87 here with that idea in mind, and that works out perfectly here. The Bucs are going to run split zone, so we're going to get zone steps and blocking from the offensive line to the left, and then we're going to get the tight end going across as that sniffer tight end, executing a sift block and looking to pick up the backside edge defender, which is number 94, Bills rookie Landon Jackson. So watch Bishop. We showed it from the sideline. I talked about his trigger. He's triggering off of 87 here. I'll play it in real time. Bang. He sees 87 go. He's out. Quick trigger. Sees him. Bang. He's gone. Now watch him shoot that front side A gap and help make the stop. I think this end zone angle does a good job of showing how fast he can play, how much ground he can cover, how comfortable and confident he looks moving in this space, and then finishing at the tackle point. I think what's also nice to highlight on this one, watch as he moves into the gap. He dips and jumps into the hole to avoid the center, number 79, but then also play through any block attempt from 81. And that's a key call out in this one as well. 81 is trying to pick up Cole Bishop, but Bishop triggers so fast on the movement from 87 and the action up front that he sees that 81 has no shot. Bishop beats that block and then jumps into the hole, dips, avoids the block, even uses his hand a little bit to kind of push himself through. Just a nice play, and then wraps up, is able to get that ankle, I should say, and pick it. Also, shout out to Dorian Williams on this play as well. He sees Deion Walker get washed in front of him and sees or feels Bishop fitting the run and then operates off of that accordingly. Just watch Dorian Williams real quick. See, whoop, and then fit. And he and Bishop combine to make the stop. Again, one more time from this angle. Quick trigger from Bishop, sees it, reads, reacts, shoots the gap, makes the tackle. He's playing fast. He's playing confident because he's comfortable in and around the box and the line of scrimmage, and that is where he's most effective. The next play that we're going to look at is also from the Bills' third preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a 2nd and 9 from the Bucs 35. The Bills are running a cover 1 blitz. Cover 1 means we have man coverage across the board, and we're pairing that with a single high safety over here, which is Mr. Cole Bishop. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the responsibility of Cole Bishop here and any single high post safety. He's deep at roughly 20 yards. Usually post safeties are at around 15, but this can vary from defense to defense and even situationally. Plus, you tend to aim for a depth of 18 to 20 yards with a slow pedal on the snap. So starting this deep and not necessarily gaining any depth isn't crazy. Bishop's job here, and the job of, again, any post safety or single high safety, you are a post helper first and foremost. You are playing your zone deep to short. You're breaking on any in cuts at the moment that the ball is being delivered. If you get a dig from one side and a post from the other, you favor the post. You depend on the quarterback's front shoulder to tell you which side of the field he wants to throw to. Versus a 2-by-2 alignment like the Buccaneers motion into on this play, you're going to stay in the middle of the two inside receivers. You want to stay square. You don't want to commit or shoulder turn to any side until the quarterback points his front shoulder. And then you want to break on the ball on the QB's set and transfer. That is for responsibility in cover 1. That's responsibility in cover 3. If you are that post safety, that middle third, that single high, middle of the field, closed safety, that is how you are playing. So keep that in mind as we look at several plays here going forward. But on this one, it's nice to see from Bishop. He's going to read the quarterback's eyes. He's going to drive on the crosser and make a nice tackle on the tight end. He's going to stick him. Bang, comes up here. Nice tackle. Again, like I talked about, you are a post helper first and foremost. The Bucs motion into a 2-by-2, and it's a tight 2-by-2. So we see Bishop. Again, he's already pretty deep. He doesn't gain any depth. You see him just open up in relation to the QB's eyes. Trask is looking to the left, so Bishop starts to open up and move to the left because he's reading the QB, but he's not necessarily gaining any depth. He moves maybe like a half a yard or a yard deep, but his eyes are on the QB. He's watching. Then as Trask gets his eyes to his target, you see Bishop start to slow down a little bit. There's throwing motion. We're starting to get that set and transfer from the quarterback. So what does Bishop do? He sees that, plants, drives, breaks on the ball, and makes a nice tackle. So executing within his area of responsibility here. What I also wanted to call out on this play from the end zone angle is Cole Bishop getting his head on the ball and popping it out. It just doesn't come completely loose. So I'm going to let this play run. I'm going to slow it down as we get towards the catch. Watch Bishop come right in. Again, he forms up the ball carrier, and we get a hat right on the ball, and you can see the ball pop out right there. It doesn't come completely loose. I've checked the other angles. I don't know why it doesn't come completely out. I don't know if 81 gets a hand back on it or Daquan Hardy, number 25 here, that goes to make the tackle and accidentally helps 81 get control of the ball again. But We don't get a full incompletion or fumble. Ball doesn't come fully loose, but that's a nice stick from Cole Bishop. You're reading, reacting, bang. Hat right on the ball. Ball comes loose. You make a forceful tackle, stick the dude, drive him to the ground. Nice play from Bishop and finish. Next play we're going to get into here, again, from the Bills game in week 3 of the preseason against the Buccaneers. This is a 3rd and 10 from the Bills' 39-yard line. We're going to get a cover 1 blitz again. This time, Cole Bishop is not the single high safety. Instead, he is in man coverage versus the number 3 to the 3 receiver side. For those who don't know, the 3 just means in order from outside in. So that's how you number the eligibles for the offense. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. If we're going from the other side, the wide receiver over here is 1, the running back is 2. If the running back all of a sudden moved over here and started to go this way, we would label him as 4. But then if he goes past number 3, he would become the new 3, and then this guy would become 4. Cover 1 blitz for the Bills here on 3rd and 10. Damar Hamlin is going to be your single high post safety. Cole Bishop is responsible for the 3 to the 3 receiver side. We have a 2 high look pre-snap from the Bills. They're going to shift to single high on the snap. I'm going to let this play run for a bit so you can see. This is a good job from Bishop. He plays the sticks. He knows the down and distance. It's 3rd and 10. I like how he slow plays the route, maintains good leverage, and he only drives once the wide receiver commits across the field. And again, this is another good stick from Cole Bishop. Bad throw, bit behind the wide receiver, helps this being complete. But even if it's caught, it's a stop leading to 4th down for the Bills. End zone angle here to show Bishop's point of view. Again, what are we going to get? He knows the down and distance. Watch him come up. Eyes are right on 82. That's his man. That's who he's responsible for. He comes forward, mirrors him, slow plays this, and then you can see 82. Watch how 82 changes his pace. Bang. Puts his foot in the ground. Not the fastest guy, not the biggest gear change, but he puts his foot in the ground. The body language and the uptick in tempo shows that he's committing. So Bishop commits with him. Right there. Puts that left foot in the ground. So Bishop, he gets on his horse a little bit, moves to cut this receiver off. Again, ball is thrown behind him, which helps this be incomplete. But even if this ball is thrown out in front of him, Bishop still has the opportunity to play through the hands, knock this ball down, or at worst, it's caught. He makes the stick, and then we've got a 4th and medium. That's a good play from Cole Bishop. The next play we're going to get into here is from the Bills' 2nd preseason game against the Chicago Bears. This time we are going to get the Bills in a cover 3 look versus the Bears running a play action boot. We're going to see the second level sucked up into the run fake a little bit, but then if you watch, everything will disperse into cover 3. And Cole Bishop is going to end up being the single high post safety, again, with middle third responsibility. And he is going to slice on the over route. Good communication between him and Dorian Strong. Again, single high post safety. You are a post helper first and foremost. You play your zone deep to short. I'm going to let this play go here. See, Hamlin buzzes down. We get some communication. Everybody tries to disperse into the cover 3. Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. So if you were going to get, a cover 3, if you're that single high post safety versus a boot or any kind of waggle action from the quarterback, you want to stay in your pedal until you find ball direction. So let's watch. Bishop drops to the middle third. He's eyeing, gets his eyes across here to the one from that side, puts his foot in the ground. You see him call out right there. You see Dorian Strong acknowledge that and recognize it. Essentially what Bishop and Dorian Strong are doing here is they're switching responsibility. So Cole Bishop is going to drive or slice on the crosser, and Dorian Strong is going to replace him in the post. So Bishop's going to go up here, and then Strong will replace him. This is a search technique from Dorian. You essentially are searching for the next crosser or riding the hash and picking up trash once your guy disappears. Shout out to Cody Alexander from Match Quarters, who I was talking about this with on Twitter when I posted a clip similar to this, but from the Bills' first preseason game. Bishop finds the ball direction decently and slices, but he's going to get caught up a bit with the route from Romo Dunze down here at the bottom of your screen. But this play is more of an offensive play working than anything else. So I wanted to call out those pieces, and now we'll let it run here. There's Bishop going. Good call out. drives on the crosser. Caleb Williams completes this to rookie Colston Loveland, who's coming on the slide route out of the backfield. Again, this is more of just the offensive play working than anything else. But I wanted to highlight Bishop's communication because I think this is good. I talked about it. I think he gets worse the further he gets from the box and the line of scrimmage. Not to say that he's bad, but just that highlights how strong he is in and around the box and the line of scrimmage. This is nice recognition and communication here. He sees it, bang, calls out to Dorian Strong. Also good on Dorian Strong for calling it out at the same time. They're both seeing the same thing. They're seeing it at the same time. And Bishop recognizes it, slices, drives on that crosser. Now, faster for him. More time on task should equal quicker and accurate processing. So again, that's part of the hope. He's showing this. This is a nice flash. Okay, he's understanding a little bit. The more he plays, the more he studies tape, the more he understands team tendency and situational football. Hopefully, again, ideally, he'll be able to process quicker and faster and more accurate. He could get out of his pedal a little more. You know, it seems like it takes him several steps to kind of get on his giddy up. Once he breaks down and sees it and communicates, I'd like him to take, an angle that allows him to drive on it. Again, he gets caught up in Odunze a little bit from the bottom there, but even his angle out, you can see it's a little rounded as he almost kind of has to rev his engine a little bit. And this isn't on Bishop. This is to highlight him reading and reacting and processing. So solid and sound from Cole Bishop here. This next play is from the Week 2 preseason game against the Chicago Bears. Again, we are going to get the Bills in cover 3, once again with Cole Bishop as the single high post safety, and once again, driving or slicing on an over route. 2nd and 14 for the Bears from their own 41. Let the play run a little bit, and then we'll talk about it here. See the communication, relaying of signals, teams calling some stuff out. We have essentially like a little nubby-esque action there from the tight end, close to the formation, but not necessarily attached. Watch Cole Bishop here. I wanted to point out this play because folks were ripping on Bishop for it during the game, and this one really isn't on him. Just going to let it run, see what happens. Nice stick from Bishop. Okay, let's go into the actual play here and what we are going to get. Single high, post safety, your job for Bishop or any post safety or single high safety, you are a post helper first and foremost. You play your zone deep to short. That is where Bishop goes on the snap. You'll watch him here. He's getting to his 3rd. I would like him to get his eyes side to side a little bit here. I'd like him to read more of the route distribution and read the play a little bit more. Now, I don't know what he's thinking here, what he's processing, what he's actually seeing. He also might have amazing peripheral vision that allows him to kind of see anything and everything that's happening around him. But even so, even with that, again, this play isn't on Bishop. And keep in mind, again, he is initially having to honor the post as that single high safety. But what we get again here, he drops. We see a little communication here from Dorian Strong. Let's keep an eye on Dorian Strong up there. Again, cover 3. He's got his deep 3rd. He throws his hand up a little bit. Loveland stems this well, which I'm going to talk about. Now you see him being a little more demonstrative in his communication. Bishop either hears that and or sees Loveland starting to break over the field. So Bishop puts his foot in the ground, drives, slices on that route. Again, if you notice a little hitch in the giddy up again, watch as he starts to turn and drive. He doesn't instead of just planting and going, he almost plants and kind of stutters a little bit or rounds it out a little bit when he comes out of his plant. See, that left foot still gets back, and then he goes a little more sideways before he does going to the football. I'd like him to clean that up. I'd like more of a direct angle and efficient pathway to the ball. But again, even with that being said, this isn't on him, and that's a good stick for him to come up and make the play on Loveland. Now, I want to talk about the play in and of itself a little bit here. What we're going to get from the Bears on this one, we're going to get a sit route from number 14 here. And that plus the over from Loveland coming over here. Essentially what it's going to do is going to create a high-low against Mr. Joe Andreessen here, linebacker for the Bills at the second level. If Andreessen sinks and tries to cover the over, Caleb's going to hit 14 on the sit. If Andreessen nails down like he does, Caleb Williams is going to hit the over right behind him. This is a concept that works well versus zone, and it gets the Bills on the second level here. So we're just going to watch this play out. There's the little sit from 14. Now here's Joe Andreessen. If he goes there, Williams goes here. If Andreessen were to continue to sink, Caleb Williams could hit this right here. And then you're going to have Dorian trying to like squeeze down on it and make a play on there. Again, it's just a high-low created against the second level. Andreessen nails down on 14. Caleb makes a good throw, layering it over the second level, finding Loveland. There's a lot of space there. Good throw, good concept. It worked well. Keep in mind, too, for this one, as Bishop is driving on that over, he still initially, until he knows there's a commitment there, he still has to honor the post. He still has to honor this middle third. And then once he gets the communication, boom, he goes. Dorian Strong. I'm going to do that for both Dorians like I do with Jackson and Spencer Hawes. Dorian Strong replaces him there in the post to give any help in case you get a route threat over there, which you do because you get a post here with a wheel behind it. Also, last piece I want to mention here, the way Colston Loveland stems his route on this one, he doesn't necessarily commit to the over. Watch how he breaks inside, but he gets upright right there and sells like he still could be going vertical, which is why Dorian Strong doesn't necessarily call it out right away. And then he commits. And then you get that communication from Strong. So several factors working against the Bills on this one. You tip your cap to the Bears on this one. This is where you just tip your cap to the play call, the design, the execution from the receivers, quarterback, the concept. Tip your cap. Well done. The last play that we're going to look at here is also from the Chicago Bears game against the Buffalo Bills in week 2 of the preseason. This is a 3rd and 5 for the Bears from the Bills 36. This is the touchdown for the Bears that capped their opening drive. The Bills here are in cover 1 lurk with Cole Bishop down here in man coverage and DeMar Hamlin as your single high post safety deep. I want to talk about the coverage structure and then get into this here. So I want to start with the cover 1 lurk piece. Again, cover 1 meaning we have a single high safety plus man coverage across the board. Lurk is in reference to a low hole player. In this case, the low hole player is Joe Andreessen because the running back is aligned to Dorian Williams' side and ends up releasing that way. So Dorian Williams goes with him and takes him man for man. The techniques and specifics for the low hole player, again, it's Joe Andreessen on this play. The technique and specifics for the low hole player or the lurk player can vary from defense to defense, but it's largely focused on cutting off routes, reading the eyes of the QB. It's designed to give the defense extra help on underneath or low intermediate routes towards and or across the middle of the field. So essentially, when you're running cover 1 lurk, the lurk or low hole player plus the middle of the field safety are there as support pieces inside for defensive backs or coverage players should they funnel eligible pass catchers inside or funnel them that way. We'll let the play run. Now we'll diagram it a little bit. Again, this is a good design from the Bears, one that you almost tip your cap a little bit. You're going to get a switch release from the 2 and the 3 here from the Bears. Again, how do we number eligible pass catchers from outside in? So 1, 2, 3. We're going to get a switch release from 2 and 3, which essentially means number 2 here, Roma Dunze, is going to go this way and become the number 3. And Zacchaeus, number 14, is going to go this way, and he is now going to become the 2. So we get a switch release, which creates a 2-way go for 14 against Bishop and allows him to essentially play off of his route and have a choice. So watch 14. There we go. We got a 2-way go. He's got a choice route. Now, we saw this later in the game from a different player. Choice route just meaning he can come here and depending on the leverage or what he reads, he can go this way or he can come this way and go this way. Based off of Cole Bishop's leverage, you can see him kind of opening up too much and flying outside even more so than he already was pre-snap. Inside is open. That's where the space is. So Zacchaeus is going to put his foot in the ground, cut inside. That's the choice he makes, and it's open. And then we get some not so good stuff. As I laid out with cover 1 lurk, there are options for help inside for the coverage players. So you've got the low hole player, you've got the single high safety. Doesn't really work out for a variety of ways here, which we're going to get into in the end zone angle. But even with, having potentially expecting help inside, you'd like Cole Bishop to be stickier here or more in phase with the route. For what it's worth, I do think Cole Bishop thinks that his man is going to the flat. I think that's part of the reason why he overcommits so much to the outside. I think he thinks he's going this way, and so he's already playing that and ready to head him off. Again, this is a third down. It's a 3rd and 5. I think he thinks something quick is coming underneath to the sideline, to the flat, so he's overplaying his hand. It just happens to backfire and create leverage, and then you don't get the support that you're supposed to or ideally have in this situation. Let's go to the end zone angle. Got Bishop highlighted here, Andreessen highlighted here. So we'll play here and watch Andreessen. Watch Andreessen just drift slightly. Then he gets his eyes. Looks like he picks up Odunze. Also, he eyes Bishop's man. It looks like he thinks he's going to the flat. So he's thinking, okay, he's out. I don't have to worry about him. Let me get my eyes somewhere else. He's trying to read and process what's going on. But essentially, what it comes down to here is, at the end result, I should say, is Andreessen appearing a bit lost and getting caught a bit in no man's land. And then, again, we get the poor tackle attempt. Not great. Let's talk about things from a Bishop perspective. Here's Cole Bishop right now. We showed it from the sideline angle, him playing with that leverage, even going further outside. But we'll talk about the pre-snap leverage. Again, he is outside leverage. Why? Because he knows he has help here and help here. But as we talk about on the snap, I think Bishop thinks that Zaccheaus is going to the flat, or he just gets caught up, poor timing, or just getting his feet a little bit out of control. They go out of frame a minute. There's Zaccheaus creating that two-way go, squaring him up, bang, snaps it inside. You would like Cole Bishop to be a little closer, a little more in phase, to the point where if this pass is completed, it's a tackle right there. And it's even further separation because Bishop is essentially kind of underneath him, and Zaccheaus is already going upfield. Zaccheaus makes the catch. And then what I also don't like at this point, you can see where Hamlin is aligned. I would like Bishop to continue more on this kind of line. So if Zaccheaus has to bend it around like he does, you have the opportunity to intersect and make that tackle and make that stop downfield. But you see Bishop starts to drift or trail a little more off of him. And then when Zaccheaus cuts, Bishop ends up getting caught within kind of the crossfire a little bit of Hamlin. Hamlin misses the tackle. It interferes with Bishop having an opportunity to make the tackle, and we end up getting a touchdown for the Bears. Let this play as we talk about it holistically. Bad play from Damar Hamlin, who should make the tackle there. Again, I also don't love the chase angle from Cole Bishop. He takes too direct of a line, and it puts him out of position to make the tackle from behind. Not a great rep from Bishop or Andreessen or Hamlin, but just focusing on Bishop here. This is also a mismatch from the start, and the play design furthers that mismatch. Having your safety, most safeties, against an actual or true slot wide receiver or slot threat is not the most ideal situation for a defense. I've talked about it. Bishop is good manning up against tight ends or running backs. I don't necessarily want him matched up against true slot wide receivers, guys that are real shifty and have a lot of stop-start capability like Zaccheaus does. So potentially we see down the road, you've got a tight end here up against Dorian Strong. Maybe if this is a regular season game, we switch this up a little bit. Maybe Bishop is outside versus the tight end, and then we bring Dorian Strong over here so we have actual corners on all of the wide receivers. So this is a bit of a mismatch from the start with Bishop on Zaccheaus, and then the play design with the switch release, the two-way go, the choice route. It just furthers that mismatch and creates a good opportunity for the Bears. So while other players ideally operate a little more accordingly, but good play from the Bears. Tip your cap. You got beat. I don't know if I want Bishop lined up against a true slot, but if so, you still have to play that a little safer and not create so much leverage or allow the receiver to create so much leverage and put you out of position. Again, even though there were contextual pieces that worked against him on his side and on the Bears side as well. So those are the plays I wanted to break down. I know safety has been a contentious position for Bills fans, and I've talked about him a bunch in a lot of ways. I think where he's at right now is kind of par for the course. He's making good, strong plays in and around the box and around the line of scrimmage, like he did last year as a rookie. And I think the further he gets away from the line of scrimmage, he needs more time on task in those areas to really see the game, feel the game, be able to play faster and quicker while still being accurate the way he does when he's around the box and around the line of scrimmage. Hope you folks enjoyed that breakdown. I think he's an encouraging player. I've talked about it. I didn't love the fit when the Bills selected him, and I do think he needs time on task, but I think there's reason to be encouraged and potentially excited for him this year as he goes into year two. If you folks enjoyed this episode or this breakdown, please drop a like on this video here on YouTube. Turn on notifications for the Disguise Coverage playlist. Subscribe to the Cover One channel. Tell your family, friends, loved ones about this episode, about this show. Word of mouth is tremendously helpful towards getting more eyes and ears and traction for the work that we put out. If you hated this episode or you hate me or you hate this show, tell your enemies and try and make them watch it and ruin their day. I hope you folks enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I'll see you when I see you. I hope you and your family and friends and loved ones are all doing well and staying safe. Be kind to one another. Take care of one another. Godspeed. And as always, go Bills.